Hi there. This is Ken Godevinus with Kenny's Carrots, and today it's episode number 48. It's really cold outside, but I want to talk to you today, or rather read you a portion of Christopher Watkins' book, Biblical Critical Theory. The portion I want to read is on the topic of a scandal. It's the scandal of the cross, the scandal of the cross of Christ. Wondered if you've ever thought of it that way, as a scandal. If you're a Christian, the cross is not a scandal to you. But if you're not a Christian, it could be a scandal to you. So let's listen in to what Christopher Watkins has to say. To understand the cross of Christ and its place as a biblical figure, it helps to grasp something of the symbolism of crucifixion in the Roman Empire of Jesus' day. The cross was not just a way of executing criminals. It was a statement of power, a living and eventually a dying message to any would-be enemies of Rome that they could be next. The cross is an instrument not only of death, but of humiliation. Victims would hang naked, bowels would empty, dogs would prowl, cadavers would be left to rot, smells would carry, birds would scavenge. And this shame was expressly public. Like a macabre advertising, hoarding the crucified body is lifted high so that everyone can see it, erected on the side of a road or in a public place so that passerbys cannot fail to be struck by its brutal message. The wreathing and cries of the dying provided the perfect choreography and soundtrack to this advertisement of Rome's merciless power. These human hoardings broadcasting unto their last tortured breath the imperial message: Rome is everything. The crucified one is nothing. When the sign above Jesus' head on the cross was written as King of the Jews, Matthew chapter 27, verse 37, and also Mark chapter 15, verse 26, Luke 23, verse 38, and John 19, verse 19. The statement of Roman dominance was intended to be absolute. This is Rome's reply to rival sources of sovereignty. But all of this, as it turns out, just adds to the power of the cross as a central image of the Christian faith. The cross of Christ takes the ultimate symbol of Roman power and brutality, a symbol that met with disgust and was banned from polite conversation, and successfully recodes it as an icon of love and service. This is the ultimate in ambush marketing, the determinant to end all determinants. In the hands of God, the ultimate symbol of merciless, torturing power is subverted to become the worldwide cipher of self-giving love. When Christ is lifted up on the cross, like and so unlike the tower in Genesis 11 that reaches to the heavens, verse 4, he is the anti-Babel, the counter-spectacle. Like the situationist Metro Graffiti, but in a way many orders of magnitude more powerful, the cross of Christ takes a symbol, perhaps the preeminent symbol of Roman power, and subverts its meaning from an uncompromising, murderous declaration of imperial might to a message of grace and forgiveness. And the subversion has worked. For 2 billion Christians throughout the world today, and for many onlookers outside the Christian faith, the cross is not ultimately a symbol of brute Roman power, but of a man dying for his friends. John chapter 15, verse 13. Mirabile dictu, the quintessential symbol of Roman potesta, or power, has become the preeminent emblem of Christian caritas, or charity. Paul knows exactly what he is doing when in Colossians chapter 2, verse 15, he scandalously turns the logic of the spectacle back on the Roman authorities, who used it to such devastating effect in crucifixion. Quote, and having disarmed the powers and authorities, he made a public spectacle of them, triumphing over them by the cross. End of quote. Paul's mind-blowing idea is that the crucified one, the helpless, naked, shamed victim, makes a public spectacle of the dominant imperial authorities who are crucifying him at the very moment of their apparent victory. It is an unsurpassed irony and our first glimpse of a pattern of thinking about the cross that is often repeated in the Bible. It is the idea of the cross as the subversive fulfillment of the values and aspirations of all peoples and societies. In this case, the subversive fulfillment of the triumph that Rome craved, pursued in a sinful and corrupting way, and never fully achieved. Crucifixion is certainly a potent spectacle, but the cross is a more powerful counter-spectacle of love. For anyone today whose imagination is haunted by the experience or the fear of brutal torture, and for anyone reading these words whose heart races to the fantasy of torture, the cross is your counter-spectacle, neutralizing and subverting brute violence like a strong alkaline acting on a corrosive acid, or like a sledgehammer smashing a dangerous chainsaw beyond use. What is more, this counter-spectacle has the power not only to disarm, but to convert the one pouring the acid or wielding the chainsaw. End of quote. Christopher Watkins, Biblical Critical Theory. Hear this again, and you'll never think of the cross any differently. If you like what you heard, you like what you see, please indicate so on the YouTube page you're watching. Also, please register or subscribe to our YouTube channel, Digging for Scriptural Gems, and you'll get much more of this. Thanks for watching. God bless.